You're watching Gold Rush and a Rush, and we're recapping Season 4, Episode 13, Death of a Dream. In this episode, we'll see 12 minutes of Todd HOFFMAN, 11 minutes of Parker SCHNABEL, 9 minutes of Dakota Fred, and 26 minutes of commercials, recaps, and previews. So what happened? Parker's only hope to meet his goal is to run the wash plant all night, a job he gives to crew member Rick, even though Rick will be alone after working a 12-hour shift. 2 hours later, a rock jams the feeder they fixed from jamming last week, and Rick has to turn on the water bypass valve to clear it. But after clearing it, he forgets to turn the bypass back off, filling the riffles with muddy water and potentially losing thousands in gold. The next morning, Parker responds by swearing, threatening to fire Rick, and then getting on the phone to hire former Team HOFFMAN crew member Chris Dumid to load Big Red. But 10 minutes after being hired, Chris jams Big Red, then clears it. 10 minutes later, Chris jams Big Red again, then clears it again. The material is too chunky and Parker is running the conveyor too fast, so Chris asks for control of both the loader and the plant, which Parker allows. At the end of the week, they stop for a cleanout, which cues the arrival of real miner Tony Beets. The weigh-in: 20 ounces, 40, 60, 80, 120, 130, 140.65 ounces of gold. Tony smiles and shakes Parker's hand, instantly making it the greatest gift Parker has ever received. The Dakota boys continue to mine their downstream cut until a tire blows on their loader. The next day, they find the only spare tire for 100 miles, but it is too narrow for the wheel rims and can't be filled with air. So Fred expands the inside of the tire with wood, but it's still too narrow. So Fred fills the remaining gap with grease, but it's still too narrow. So Fred uses the excavator to pull the tire against the rim as it fills with air, and it finally works, because Fred can fix anything. Fred then becomes the first person in history to fix a flat tire using a 2x4, 2 tubes of silicone, a bucket of grease, and an excavator. At the end of the week, they weigh their gold, 72 ounces worth $100,000, the exact amount of money needed for Dustin to mine Cahoon Creek, which they are now convinced is the source of Porcupine Creek's gold. After 20 hours of running, Todd shuts down the trommel to check on the progress of Dave's new gold mine. Though there is surprisingly no gold, Todd does find the world's smallest diamond in the sluice. In order to catch the hundreds of diamonds he is convinced are being washed away, he wants to install diamond-catching jigs. But where will they find them in the middle of the jungle on such short notice? Luckily, it just so happens there are already 2 just sitting on the site left behind 20 years earlier. All the rusted hulks need to get working again are motors, belts, bladders, and a drive shaft. Luckily, Freddy Dodge magically appears from the Klondike in order to fix them. Also lucky, he brought the exact spare parts he would need to fix them. But will they be able to lower them in place at the end of the sluice? Yes, but only after minutes of tense music and Dave and Todd exchanging lines like, "Stop, stop, stop, stop. Wait, 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 wait. Easy, whoa, whoa, whoa," which is far more interesting than watching gold mining. After running 1,000 yards of pay dirt, they do another cleanout and again find no gold and 1 diamond. Only Todd isn't there to see it because he's been called to Georgetown to meet with the claim owner, who is surprisingly unhappy with Todd's progress of nothing. Under the strange assumption that Todd is terrible at everything, he orders Todd and his crew to pack up and go home. Best lines. The hardest part of this job is paying attention. Let's get this thing shaking again. What I really want to do is not screw this up. After 3 months in the jungle, Todd HOFFMAN is staring failure in the face. We have to stop your operation. You have to shut down. Pack up, go home. Join us for a special episode on Monday where previews reveal the Dakota boys successfully gold mining, Parker SCHNABEL successfully gold mining, and Todd HOFFMAN talking.